Hello, Talk Funders. Today, we're joined by Klaus from Nordic Deluxe. Hello there, my friend. Good to see you, and thank you so much for coming to Talk Funding today.
Thank you, Alan, and thank you a lot for having me. I'm thrilled. Thank you very much.
And it's really early days. You just launched yesterday at time of recording for your lovely Nordic Deluxe Pro lanterns, which are, as it says here at the top of the Kickstarter page, a multifunctional planter and wine cooler, sounds good, with built-in multicolored lantern and linkable waterproof Bluetooth speakers. So as we go through, and it's also, which are also app controlled. So as we go through this main interview here on Talk Funding, maybe we could just start by you just giving a broad brushstroke of what this Kickstarter is all about, please, Klaus.
Thank you very much. This is our absolute first Kickstarter ever, so it's really exciting for us to be on Kickstarter, and we have been preparing this for quite some time, 1.5 years actually, and we are so thrilled just to be launched just yesterday, and we have our second day today, and the product itself is more or less self-explaining, but of course I'd like to go into details. I think maybe we should just move a little bit onto the side, and then I can talk a little bit about the product, what it really is, because it's a lot. It's not just a planter, it's not just a wine cooler, it's not just a light object or an outdoor speaker, it's much more.
Okay, there's a lovely shot, and I encourage people to all the Talk Funders Kickstarters to really come to the Kickstarter page and to scroll down. And there's a great section here. It's packed with function, and it's really, from what I can see so far, Klaus, from the excellent campaign video you do, everything really interconnects together. So the start one here, there's one it's a planter.
Exactly.
So you can use it. Well, you can actually plant. I know Alan's going to ask the dumb question, but you can actually put plants inside this. Is that correct?
Yes, you can. And to just give the quick story about how the idea for the product came, is actually because some years ago I was growing very tired of the hassle of exchanging flower pots at home every second or third year, because even they should be UV resistant and frost proof, they would deteriorate over 2-3 years. So just growing tired of having the hassle of disposing of the old ones, buying new ones, the cost of it, of course, but also the fact to move the plants, sometimes they died, so I had to buy new ones. So I just said, basically, it must be possible to make something that is durable and can last for decades outside without deteriorating in the hard UV sunlight or in harsh conditions, as we do have in Denmark, with -20 degrees sometimes, snow in the winter. So that's actually the basic. Then we decided to make them a little bit more sexy, because it shouldn't just be a planter. And that's when we started putting all the goodies inside, such as light in all colors, outdoor waterproof speaker, and lithium battery if if you want to move around with it without having the adapter inserted, an own app where you can control everything. If you just have your iPad or a tablet or your phone at hand, you can control every feature in the product.
And from that app, which sounds tremendous, and we'll look at it really in the deep dive interview, which is coming next. Klaus will give a really good demonstration of how you can change the colors. So just another dumb question by Alan. So you can actually alter the colors of the lantern, plus also adjust the sound coming from the speakers in the planter as well.
Yes, you have all color options, and you can control each planter or wine cooler or whatever you want to use it for, or light object. You can control each one, or you can put them all in one group, and with one press of a button you can change the colors in all of them. You can actually make as many groups as you want, front porch, back porch, swimming pool area, whatever. and you can just connect all together. So it's quite easy. Go into the app, push one button, and then you change the colors.
And one thing I picked up from watching the excellent video is the point that the system seems to work well whenever there's a few speakers sort of bundled together or coming together. Would that be correct?
It is correct. We are using Bluetooth technology, and one of the obstacles with Bluetooth is that it's a peer-to-peer, or at least the old versions of Bluetooth were peer-to-peer solutions, meaning you can only play on one speaker at the time. Vice versa, the Wi-Fi, where you can connect to many speakers, but you need to be in the range of a good router in order to get a good Wi-Fi signal. Meaning, if you are too far away from the house, away from the router, you can't use it. If you are going to the beach, you're going wherever in the forest, and you want to bring the speaker, the cooler, whatever, Bluetooth technology is just much better. What we managed to do is to make a multi-link speaker where you can connect 8, 10, 12 or more speakers to the same one. So far, the only ones I've seen in the world is that you could connect 4 or 5 pieces without getting into trouble, because there is a delay. We don't have a delay, so you can actually just add speakers. Wow. So you get a real audio experience, and you get the better audio experience with 2, 3, 4, 5, of course, but with 2 speakers, you actually get a very good audio experience.
And we'll look at the offering at the end of this main interview on your Kickstarter, particularly for your early offerings for actual double packs where you can combine the different speakers together. And just lastly, in terms of function, you have a food safe vessel as well.
Yes,
and
correct.
Is that for the big parties then, or like how can you see people using that function there?
It actually, just want to go back a little bit, because what we decided from the early beginning is that this has to be a real outdoor product that can last for 10 years or 20 years outside, even at -20 degrees. So it's actually frost-proof down to -20 degrees, even the speaker, and it's a waterproof speaker. And they can stand outside all year round, even in harsh conditions, hard sunlight. That's where we started, but we wanted to make an environmental friendly product, because we have to start saving our planet for our generations to come. So what we are using, first of all, is a recycled plastic. And after use, it can actually be recycled 5 or 6 times more. So that's where we started. And in the process, we said also we want to have a material that has no emissions at all. That's also why we could get it food contact approved. So you can actually use it as a wine cooler, add in ice cubes as well, and then you can add, you can use the ice for drinks, etc. Or you can, with the small one we have, you can use for snacks, olives, whatever, because it's actually safe to use for food contact.
Well, I love that story that you're coming from. Your first principle was to do a really high quality, sustainable product. And because of that, the benefit of going for that quality is you can actually use it for food use. It meets the requirements for food use. So that's a really nod to the quality and thought and design that you put into your product. Great, man. I love it, man. And I also love this. I mean, again, I got to encourage people to go and look at the video. If you don't want to get in, have a nice evening at Klaus's house with lovely food and wine and music going, you know, it's really great. So I love this, where with the app, which we'll look again in the deep dive, where you're setting the mood with our app. Isn't that right, Klaus?
Yeah, it's right. And honestly, we are not bringing products to life. We are bringing ambience and feelings to life, because what you can create with the product of ambience and audio experience and delight and just being with friends and family outside and enjoying, that is actually what we are bringing to life with the product.
And there is a lovely GIF if people scroll down on the Kickstarter page to the set the mood with our app, and it's a lovely app. It's a lovely setting in an evening where you've got some of the lovely lamps actually on the table, which are lighting up, and then around them is it people having a nice dinner with a nice glass of wine, and then the larger pots on the floor around them, which are changing colors. So really encourage people to come on the Kickstarter page and check that one out. Absolutely excellent. And then just scrolling down further on the Kickstarter page, there's just some photos of the app, which we'll look at in the deep dive. Maybe could we say a little bit about that in this part of the main interview, Klaus?
About the app, sorry?
Just to say a few details, just a broad brushstroke about the app in this part of the main interview.
It's quite easy to use. It has both an Android version and an iOS version, so it could be used on more or less all phones and tablets. Easy to use. You have an auto setup function. If you have a lot of planters, you can just hit one button, and then will it connect to all in the vicinity. And it will also create a group. Something that is quite important about the app, it's a private app. Normally, a Bluetooth connection is open to everybody, but you actually create your own account name, so only the ones that know the account name can log in and control the lamps and the speakers. That means if the neighbor has one, he can't control it, which is sometimes funny, of course, if they can, but it can be annoying Saturday evening if you have guests on the terrace and the neighbor is controlling your lamps. He can't unless he has the account name.
Well, I love your emphasizing the simplicity of the app. I mean, I'm really into point and shoot A to B, and it sounds as if it's fairly seamless integration there, Klaus. And just again, sorry to interrupt you. And what you can do in the app is, of course, you can easily control every single lamp, every single speaker, or you can create a group and control everyone with one push with your finger on one button. But you also have some preset functions. Without not only the colors, you can choose every color you want. The standard color is warm yellow, meaning just like the old light bulb, not a cold LED color, but the nice warm yellow color. That's the standard color. But you can choose every color you want. You can also choose random, where they are blinking in different colors. You can choose a spa light therapy light session, and a lot of other features. You also have, by the way, quite important, you do have a timer function as well. So you can actually set your timer so that it goes on every evening at 6 o'clock and turns off at 11 o'clock in the evening. Oh, I love that. You come home from a hard day's work.
Exactly.
you can sit outside with the lights coming on and have a wee glass of wine. I love that. That's ticking all my boxes, Klaus. And just scrolling down the page, there's just to give everybody specifications. There's the different sizes are here. If you need to scroll down, just check out sizes, which is very well laid out. And just in terms of the timeline, Klaus, I see you've done all the work, all the prototyping's done, the design's done, any glitches in the matrix regarding the apps and Bluetooth, etc. You've explained it very well. The privacy issues I love all that sort of stuff. That's very important these days. I'm really just going at the timeline now. Is just, as I just said, at time of recording, it's your day 2 of your Kickstarter. That's going to run to September. Then once that finishes in September, then really it's just basically into, in the manufacturing process, and overseas shipping and then delivery will be coming through to January 2022. So people will be all set for spring going into summer next year. Isn't that right, Klaus?
Yes. And if you are European based, you actually get them in the winter time, which is more or less my favorite time of year with the lamps, because I enjoy them so much in the summer, spending time with friends and family out on the terrace or in the garden. But I enjoy them just as much in the wintertime, because in Denmark it gets dark at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and it's dark until 7 o'clock the next morning. So when I come home from work with the timer function, I come home to a nice inviting house, a nice inviting garden with the lights on. So I really enjoy them in the wintertime. And you're going to get them exactly for that if you're based in Europe, because that's our wintertime.
Well, I don't think winter equinox, winter solstice parties will never be the same again.
No.
without these planters, by the signs of it. I love it. Oh, really good, man. And then we'll look at meet the team. We'll cover that in the backstory interview later here. But needless to say, you've got a really great experienced team who have really worked hard over, I think, over the last 2 years to bring this product to market. So well done. And we'll look at that in the backstory. Just to finish off the main interview, Klaus, I was just looking at some of the pledges and just going from what you've said in this main interview. What strikes me is the idea of the pledge, which is the double pack, where you can combine it. The speakers or the planters, but in particular, I'm just thinking of the lights and the speaker composition work really better if there was at least two working together. And you've really good offerings here in terms of there's a large double pack, which is coming in at $513 US. And also the extra large one, which is coming in at $719. Would you concur with that regarding it's probably the best offering to go for, the best pledge to go for?
You get the most out of the product if you have two, because then you actually get the audio experience with two speakers and stereo. Each speaker can play in stereo, but stereo just gets so much better if you have two speakers a couple of meters or 10 meters placed from each other. So you get a much better audio experience if you have two. Correct.
And I also noticed here, and again, if people will scroll down on the Kickstarter page, down to there's a really great and interesting available add-ons here, Klaus. Yes. I know we might look at that in the deep dive as well, but maybe let's just cover some of them here, which I think could be important. There's a 3-pack of small lanterns, etc.
Yeah, we have 2 main products. That's large and X large, but we also make the medium-size flower pots with light and speaker. Besides that, we have the small lanterns, which is also an add-on product where you get 3 lanterns. That's only light, no speaker. And then for large and X large, you can make an add-on with a lid for each one of them. If you want to close the hole in the top nicely and just use it as a light object instead of using as a planter or a wine cooler, or even for transportation purpose, if you want to bring ice cubes with you to the beach, because then you have light, drinks, ice cubes, and music. So what's not to like?
Oh, and that's one thing we didn't cover actually, Klaus, in terms of charging. I mean, how does that all work?
There is a built-in lithium battery, 12,000 milliampere. So it's actually quite a big battery. But we need this both because the speaker is and the amplifier is they take some juice because it's a 30-watt speaker and it's a 40-watt amplifier. And by the way, the music setting is done by a Danish sound lab. So the sound quality is really good, but we need some power to do that. That's why it's a big battery pack in it. So you can either choose to use it with the built-in lithium battery, where you get around 5 to 6 hours of playing time if you're playing loud and with a lot of bass, or if you just use the light, you have 12-14 hours of light. But you can also choose to use it with the adapter inserted, and the complete product is IP65 waterproof certified. That means it can withstand rain, snow, everything, and can stand outside all year round. But also the adapter itself is IP44 approved, meaning it can be used outdoor all year round. So you can easily plug and play, just put it outside. You don't have to worry about charging the product, just plug it in. And then if you want to use it on the built-in battery, you just take the plug out and then you can move anywhere with the planter.
And just finishing off the main interview and just coming up to the top of the page to this lovely video. As you can see in the video here, there's people down at the beach with all the sizes of the lanterns together. There's a lady watering her plant on the terrace, which is great. So it really is like a multifunctional planted you've got here, and I just love it. I love the idea of connecting the light together, you're connecting the music together, you're connecting food together. It's great. So let's, before we'll cover more in the deep dive, just the specifics of the plant and how you use it with the app. So encourage people to look at the deep dive next. But listen, I really want to thank Klaus from Nordic Deluxe for coming and doing this TALKFUNDING main interview today. All the links for this excellent product will be in the video description below. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you.
Alan, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye now.